This was a calculated docu-series by the PGA Tour. They wanted to bring in new viewers to the game. I mean, you're going to get Dan Rappaport. Rappaport has just come on the scene as this new voice in golf. What did y'all take on something like that?
I think it would have been fine to have someone like that there. Of course, they have important part of, they're telling stories every week, but to have no one explaining what the player's feeling, like IBF, there's tons of guys that could have Colt Noss. Why wasn't Colt? Colt knows exactly what's being felt. Some of these other people are just thinking they know. I don't think it's authentic.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Straight Down the Middle-ish, a wrap-up edition here after our first season. We just dropped our 10th episode this morning, and we just wanted to kind of hit on some topics that are burning around the office. And
burning my ass.
Burning your ass. We got Bifurcation on the table. We got Masters picks, a little live talk. So why don't we just drop?
Well, first of all, what about
jump right into it?
Little review. So
yeah,
done 10 episodes from Horschel and Cam early to Short Game Chef and Ramon Buscanza, like instruction guys. I think, obviously biased, but I think our podcast has a very cool mix of guests, and I'm sort of proud of that we're not just going down one path. It's a bit of everyone. It's, I guess, a little bit Roganish. It's who are our friends and who we want to speak to. We're not really caring about audience or advertisers so far.
Well, a lot of guys that touch the game, guys that are involved in the game, like you said, Ramon and Parker, they just might not be that well known right now, and to shine a light on what they're doing inside the ropes has been really cool.
To me, they've been my favourite ones. I don't know about everyone, but obviously people know the Tom Hoagies, know the Cams and stuff like that. But Tyson Alexander, another great mix, plays, not an instructor, but doesn't have a huge audience. It was cool to learn more stuff about him.
Yeah, and some of the guys we have lined up for the next run of episodes it's kind of the same boat. It's like, you got
a unique mix.
Yes, it's going to be good.
Go ahead.
What do you want to talk about today?
Well, let's jump right into just kind of last week. The NCAA tournament's been cooking, and you had some thoughts on Matchplay and how that kind of correlated with the bracket.
Well, growing up, one of the main reasons I chose golf at a certain age was it was in my hands. The results are in my hands. It's not a teammate. It's not an official. It's not, nobody from the outside can fuck with my stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody can touch your stuff.
Well, whatever. But they got
he pisses excellence everywhere.
Dude, it was cool that they're going on at the same time. You have the NCAA basketball tournament. It's the same thing. It's match play basically.
Yeah. Win
you're in, lose you're out. Season's over. Except their season's not
survive
over.
in advance.
Right. That Creighton game at the end of the game, and Pricey said he didn't watch it.
Same.
Well, God damn it.
Boozing too much.
Dude,
member guest.
You would have had to have peeled me off the court going after those officials.
Yeah.
I mean, those poor kids, season over. The guy blew the whistle like 3 seconds after the shot was released. Once God. It missed. Just gross. You can't.
End your season.
1
like
second
that.
to go. Yes, these poor kids. Some of these guys might never play basketball again. They probably won't.
Yeah.
Some of the seniors on that team, and you're robbed by some joker who gets whistle happy.
Yeah. You got to swallow the whistle there. I only saw the highlights. I know how.
This last possession. I don't. In these same thing with the playoffs this year in the NFL. You have this side where you have this side of the argument where, a penalty is a penalty no matter when it is in the game. Fuck you. Have you ever played a sport before? Have you ever played a sport before? No, it is not. It is not. It is prison rules at the end of the games. Unless you just get absolutely mugged. You cannot call it there.
Yeah, officials shouldn't become a part of the story.
No, so here's where I'm going with this. AI. We're all over the place now with AI, right? It's
Chat GPT.
It is penetrating into our world.
Artificial intelligence.
Yes. Get rid of these jokers, dude. Get rid of them.
Get rid of referees and just go straight
baseball, all of them.
Is it a prerequisite for some of these officials in obviously it's hard, but like, shouldn't it be a prerequisite that you played?
I would think so. I think there
especially
needs to be
basketball and football. Like, as you said, a player.
I think there
would
needs to
know
be an age limit. I think there needs to be a lot of things.
But at the end of the game, a player will have the understanding of it's a little different. It's not totally different, but it's a little different.
A lot of the officials in like the SEC in football played football for different SEC schools. So you get a lot of fans that are like, "Wow, that guy went to Alabama. Of course he didn't call a hold there."
Right.
Because refereeing is different to like. Not to go off a tangent, but podcasting.
But with
hold on, there's a lot of podcasters now that didn't play. It still can't play. Can't, like in golf, can't break fucking 90.
Yeah.
And they have a huge audience, which is much respected because free market capitalism, the audience, they've gained the audience. But refereeing is a different kettle of fish.
There's so many ways we could go with this right now, Aaron. There's like, it's like that Bill Burr thing where he talks about a male writing a book about pregnancy. It makes no fucking sense to me at all. This goes to the Netflix thing. Like, yes. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't watch that show, and the people that are narrating it. It's tough.
It's modern golf media.
It's tough to watch. Respects. I just can't even. I unless you have been over the shot and in that situation, I don't want to hear it. I don't care if you're standing next to the shot. It's not the same. It's not the same. If you're a caddy, it's not the same. I don't care if you're inside the ropes with a microphone. Not the same.
But the disappointing thing is they chose a couple of journalists or reporters and a TV host, which are very good at what they do. I'm not taking anything away from them. But with the TV host, they could have got another TV host like Frank Nobilo or someone who's been there. It was a little bit insulting to be told what a player's thinking on Sunday when those people, maybe have never made a par.
And the storylines, look.
I thought Netflix was decent. I thought it was decent. The
Justin and Jordan.
Swing. That was no good.
Great guys. No shit, they're friends. We already know this. Like, everyone knows this.
But there was some good things that came out of it. Like, I learned that I already sort of knew, but Justin Thomas's old man, what a legend, right? What a great guy. The Joel Darman and his story, I thought that was good. I think that's so. But these Netflix, you gotta understand, I'm almost certain they're made for non-golfers.
Of course,
it's to bring
of course
the Formula One. The people that were inside Formula One were probably cringing at some of that shit too. And you and I, like, what? Personally, I loved it.
Well, there you go, Pricey. So it was strategically done to bring these guys in that have big social media followings. I mean, this was a calculated, docu-series by the PGA Tour. They wanted to bring in new viewers to the game, and by these little easy, bite-sized social media followings, I mean, you're going to get, the Dan Rappaports, I can't remember some of the other guys in there, but Rappaport has just come on the scene as this new voice in golf. What is y'all take on something like that?
Yeah, I think it would have been fine to have someone like that there. Of course, they have an important part of. They're telling stories every week, but to have no one explaining what the player's feeling, there's like IBF. There's tons of guys that could have Colt Noss.
Yeah.
Why wasn't Colt? Colt knows exactly what's being felt. Some of these other people are just thinking they know, and it's. I don't know. I don't think it's authentic.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. But, these people, that's their job, and they know more than you and I. But
yeah,
it was insulting to have three people trying to tell us what's going on.
Explain
Sean Foley.
Who knows more than you and I?
Not inside the locker room. No.
Talking about the Netflix producers know more than you and I, or
maybe they're trying to reach an audience that's not what we do.
Yeah.
But for an opinion of what's going on Thursday, what's going on Sunday, what's going on a Monday, I don't know. I don't think any of those three know.
Yeah, so you could have gotten some different storytellers in that situation. They only had Brandel on there for just a little bit. I mean,
Brandel's great. Like, he deserved to be giving his opinion on that because he's lived it, slept it. He's been a big part of it. So.
Yeah, he's a huge part of the golf world. I mean, I thought
he's
he
great.
Been
I disagree with him on tons of stuff, but I love listening to him.
He is, man. You remember when he was first getting started?
Mm-hmm.
how much everyone hated him.
Yeah, because his resume didn't back up what he was saying, and so that's exactly what you're talking about. What is his?
Now. What is his resume? How many times he won?
He led the Masters in
1 year.
1 year. I remember that.
He's like the old school Smiley Kaufman.
But if you look, he deserves.
That's fair.
I mean, right?
Fair take.
I just think that these people don't like someone having a strong opinion, but more so than some of these other people we've been talking about in other podcasts, whatever, no disrespect. But Chambly did. He played the Masters.
Yeah.
He's won on tour. Like someone the other day, Johnson Wagner came out with some takes, and you get on the social media and all the mouth breathers are like, oh, this guy's ranked 2,000 in the world. I'm like, give a fuck.
He's a winner.
He's played. He's like.
But you'll listen to Daniel Rappaport.
Yeah, so I don't know. And look, there's
fucking idiots.
No, but look, he deserves respect for what he does.
I'm not saying he does, but there's a lot of sheep in this world. Good God.
Well, at the end of the day, if you go back to the core, everyone's trying to make money. So I think the sheep are a big part of advertising and making money.
Sure.
So that's pro at Netflix or whoever, Dan Rappaport, it doesn't matter. They understand that, and then I can't really blame him for it.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, that was exciting. Let's talk about balls.
Yes.
So,
do we have any? Or
yeah, right. So the USGA RNA collectively come out, and I think everybody that would be following a podcast like this knows that the ball is being dialed back in just professional events and high-level amateur events. I think y'all probably came from an era where you had a bag full of baladas at one point.
Yeah.
Yes. Maxfly HT100 was the first balada
that's when
the
chipping went downhill after the baladas went out.
Oh God, they were marshmallows. They were so
square grooves and baladas. It's freaking.
It's a
wet dream.
It lent to creativity in the game.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of that's been taken out with the bomb it, find it, hit it close, and
the last golf ball that truly turned was the 2005 Pro V1. Be interesting. We're going to try and get Chris Tootin on here. Be interesting if he's not a ball data guy. 40 would more be for that, but it'd be interesting to see if they would even on the record say that. But that's the last one I felt like I could actually. Remember Wells Fargo, the old fifth, you had to hit a big draw off the tee. Mm-hmm. And after they changed balls, it was hard to hit like a draw that you knew would keep turning.
Yeah, especially with the drivers, too, the way they are now. You almost, the only way to do it's a 3-wood.
Yeah, 3-woods, if you don't know, 3-woods will turn more because it's got the more grooves in the face than the driver. That's why so many guys now hit a fade.
So Pricey, do you think the USGA is overstepping here a little bit?
I sit on the fence this, and ironically, while I give my opinion, I don't understand why so many people care. I do understand why tour players care, but everyone's just, it's a ball. Most golfers are 18 handicaps. You're not going to tell the difference. Just fucking go with the rules, and who cares? But some of the old golf courses, like they have to keep extending them. What does that cost? I think it's a numbers game. So, like Augusta now is how much longer than it was. Mm-hmm. Is that the right play? Keep extending the courses with the technology, or do you rein it back a bit? And I saw one thing, it's not really about 2024 or 2025. It's about 2055.
Right.
So how far does this technology keep going that we don't rein it in?
I'd prefer to make golf courses a little shorter again. I mean, the reaction was tiger proofing was the first reaction we saw to distance.
Yes.
And Augusta backed up their course, lengthened it.
Tons.
People catch up. I mean,
7 and 11 are like 75 yards longer than they used to be.
Tiger revolutionized the way, you treat your body and athletes approach the game of golf, but everybody's caught up to how far you can hit it. And rolling the ball back, it only applies to 0.5%, I would think.
Yeah, not many.
And
so that's the thing.
Are there other ways they could dial things back? Like, is it the ball? Do you go to the driver?
Yeah.
Do you shrink the sweet spot on the driver? Like,
I'm for that.
Go back to the old TaylorMade burner.
Because for these OEMs, I mean, dude.
But
it's going to suck for them having to
make new balls.
Yes.
So that's the thing.
Just for a select few of guys, they don't want to do that.
So that's the part that's brought me back. I've been all for, like, this is a joke. Look at St Andrews now, look at Augusta, all this stuff that they have to, millions of dollars to lengthen the course. But then I'm like, well, it's millions of dollars for Titleist and TaylorMade and Callaway to make balls for, 1,000 guys.
Right.
So I'm like, fuck, like, is that the solution? So I don't know, but
we were talking about people like referees or officials stepping in and affecting the outcome. Yeah. That's kind of like your USGA with the.
Hey, we've been watching over here from the side.
Right,
you
but
guys are hitting the ball way too far.
It's a little different though because the officials, they do it and it's boom immediate. USGA says something and it's like. Shut up and go back in the corner.
Going back to something that you always talk about, identifying talent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't it more talent? I was joking about the old TaylorMade burners. Why aren't we playing that?
Yeah.
I guess it is hard it makes it really hard for the 18 handicap because those things you can hit like a duck hook to go 50 yards. Now that is impossible.
Do you remember when the first, I guess it was a TaylorMade, like the 300 came out?
Yeah. It was fucking
When
massive.
I first saw it, I thought it was illegal. I was like,
it's like a spaceship.
How is somebody allowed to make a club head this big?
Yeah.
And that was what?
I love that thing.
98?
Yeah. No. That the TaylorMade 300 was probably like 03.
All right. I'm thinking of Great Big Bertha. But anywho, it
that
just
thing,
kept
that
getting
was
bigger.
the first one. Everyone was playing, whatever, TaylorMade this, that. When that Big Bertha became a Great Bertha, you went to a junior tournament, it must have come out in like 95, 96.
Yeah.
The whole field had a Great Big Bertha.
Yeah, that head cover. If you didn't have that thing laying on the ground next to your
but
bag,
it wasn't like
it
wasn't a symbol or anything. It was just way better than anything on the market.
It was kind of a symbol too. I mean, it was a status symbol for sure.
Then
it is a flex.
Then it became the Scotty.
Oh, it wasn't for me. I didn't give a fuck. I just wanted to shoot under par. But like TaylorMade, the burner bubble.
So
it was nothing. It was the Great Big Bertha was like cheating.
Yeah,
pricey. So if they do go to this. I have a hard time saying this. Is it
bifurcation?
I want to say bifurcation. Bifurcation. If they
Jim Furyk's buy?
Yes.
Sorry, Jim.
Do you think they it's just a ball change, or like if it was up to me, if we're gonna have two sets of rules, then we are gonna have
make the decision.
A bunch of different rules. Hybrids, you're out. You can't if you play pro golf. If you are a professional golfer, you can't have a hybrid. You can't. You want to talk about a difference maker, dude? It's not even fucking close.
Can I say something about some of the other podcasts? If I'm struggling to have an opinion on this, how are some of these guys who literally can't break 90 so heavy in their convictions? That's what I can't work out. I'm not going to mention names. I should, but oh my God, saying about this, and I'm like, don't you guys have a scramble versus one pro? Like, I'm a ex-pro. How come I can't draw a conclusion? I'm sitting on the fence, but you're so heavy one way. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm the fucking idiot.
Well, you aren't sponsored by an OEM just yet, so
true. But I don't. It's a tough one. Like, it really is. But like, they should ban hybrids.
If they dive in, if they go into this, I think they should go in face first and just, you know what, we're shrinking the ball back, and if you are a professional golfer, you can only have 2 head covers in your bag.
So bifurcation means that you get to play by your own set of rules, and so the PGA Tour makes their own rules, but they follow the USGA and RNA's rules. Why hasn't the PGA Tour ever just been like, hey, we took a vote. The club, the shortest club in your bag is now the putter.
Yeah. I think you got to work together. You don't want to have different rules for different tours. But baseball, like, obviously, that's very bifurcated with the pros and the college kids using aluminum or aluminium bats.
I could see this going down that direction of the USGA. I could see becoming like the NCAA, just irrelevant real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Could happen.
Yeah, but they are working with the RNA. It's not like they're out on they are. I completely subscribe to their intentions are for the right. They're not trying to go out on their own or whatever. They're listening. They're trying.
But they approved. They approved everything that's in the game today, and now they're walking it back because their decision was wrong.
That makes sense. So, yeah. Well, I guess it just got out of hand, and you don't know. I don't know, but the driver heads are too big. The ball goes too far.
Remember, let's reinstate some old rules.
You know those chippers like that are they're
illegal,
my
grandma used to
but they're chippers.
Yeah.
Like, how did those not get approved, but hybrids got approved?
Overholzer he's
got a chipper.
Hey, Overholzer just started following the Twitter handle.
Yes,
Aaron,
we're on
Aaron.
Team Overholzer.
Yeah,
good first name. Good first name. Spells it wrong, but good first name.
Well, it's certainly an interesting topic, and it feels like it just kind of it's been talked about for a few years, and then all of a sudden it just dropped out of the sky. Mm-hmm. And here we are. I think the PGA Tour, if they want, they can make the rules any way they seem fit.
Same. Yeah.
It does feel like politics now, because obviously the Tour and the LIV on one side, but then someone on that side, which I guess would be Rory, come out and it's like, well, I'll just play whatever. So he's on this side, but he's not agreeing. It's like a Republican that, I don't know, comes out and is like, oh, actually, I'm okay with abortion at a certain time. Then they get ostracized. So how's the Tour going to deal with Rory being okay with it when the Tour seems to not be okay with it?
Yeah, it becomes divisive.
So that's the world we live in.
Typical.
We're all on Twitter and everyone's, loves their own opinion. So it's going to be interesting.
This is going to drop next Wednesday before the Masters.
Yes.
What do we got? You got any picks?
Oof.
I got one.
Let's hear it.
The obvious favorite, I think, should be one of the heaviest favorites in a long time, is Scheffler.
Yeah.
Really?
Just hot. Great memories from last year. Yeah.
Who puts the green jacket on the defending champion?
What's happened, hasn't it? So Tiger's won it a couple of times in a row.
Probably the chairman.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I did a little research.
Was that right?
That. Yeah, it's the chairman. But in '66, Jack Nicklaus put the jacket on himself.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah, he's like, I got this.
I think Jason Day has a good shot.
He's playing well, trending.
Playing well, 6 short game.
Loves the course.
Love to see it too.
And
guy works his tail off.
Yeah.
He looks so much better now. I mean, he's on some sort of regimen, but he's dropped some lbs.
Yeah, he's healthy.
He's looking tight, fit.
Yeah.
He's kind of having a little bit of an Adam Scott late resurgence here in the career.
Yeah.
Going to be weird seeing those live guys
it's going to be awesome
getting coverage at the Masters.
We got some friends that have badges or whatever, and the amount that they're selling to wholesalers for. Won't mention that because
what is it?
It's a lot. I'll tell you, but it's.
You can sell it.
25%.
We're not saying
25% more than previous year.
Really?
We've had a few COVID years. This is nuts.
Yeah, it's always the hottest ticket on the planet
till Tiger withdraws,
and then especially if Tiger. When Tiger comes back,
I think Tiger is for the first time ever secondary.
Really?
To
the narrative,
the Tour live
the storyline,
And I think the majors, props to them for doing the right thing, irrelevant of politics. Have the best field. They got the best fields. Don't worry about the Tour. Don't worry about live.
Are they doing the right thing? I think they're doing the easy thing right now, but they're going to get weeded out with this world ranking thing. Unless you're a guy like Cam who won the British Open, you're exempt for 5 years.
I think the world ranking points at some stage, which is going to be hard because once they all have none.
Right, exactly. How do they get in?
Then their points are so weak. You're going to have to really rely on the guys like Cam and all the live guys to play well in the majors and the international series, Asian events. But yeah, like the world ranking is going to become a little bit like, oh, this guy's 15 in the world, but he's probably really like 18. So
let's say
there's so much shit going on.
Well, I say you could see it in the match play. You know, we talked about you missing live guys. You could see it in the match play. I saw some of those names that got in that field. No offense, great players.
Yeah,
but it shocked the hell out of me.
Ben Griffin,
right?
Yes,
good for him. Yeah,
but he's top. Like usually, you had to be top 64 in the world to get in the match play.
Look, the players
is a hard number.
The players was missing 31 guys from the field a couple weeks ago.
That was a staggering number.
And
Are you serious?
You could feel it.
31,
31 dudes.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, I miss seeing DJ and Cam and how are these majors going to respond?
Patrick
and let's
Reed.
say in 5 years, when the exemptions roll out. I mean, you have the lifetime exemptions at Augusta, but if Cam Smith's not allowed to play in the British Open or the U.S. Open, I mean,
I think the majors are going to stick to exactly the way they're they shouldn't have a voice in the debate. The whole debate has been played, I think, a lot of individuals to get their own Twitter followings up, which leads again to advertisers and monetary units. The amount of things being said about either side is dumb. There are things to be debated, but the whole blood money. Go and look in your 401k.
Yeah,
please go and tell me, are you okay accepting the money from the Saudis? Are you okay with your 401k going up from Pfizer, who's got to settle billions of dollars of lawsuits? Like, go through your 401k, please.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. The world is a dark place. Either participate or don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand some of these. I'm glad the majors are literally just staying out of it. It's great.
I think, yeah, like you said, it's kind of an easy decision.
I don't think
to make no decision.
I just exactly. Let's see where they stand next year when these guys are getting flushed out.
It would have been, Masters. Yeah, everybody waited for Augusta to make an announcement, and once the invitations started getting sent out, that's how we found out.
But when I love the way they did leave it open for this year. It's like basically saying they will announce something. The chairman always has his press conference on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. That'll be an interesting press conference to see if they are planning on changing their categories or something. So, I don't know.
Who's going to ask that question to Chairman Ridley? What do you think about live guys? I mean,
somebody is.
Yeah, like, why not? He should be like, look, this is the Masters. We want to identify the best field that we can.
Yeah.
And, we have a history of categories we have tweaked from time to time. And others say, okay, this is this tweak. Sometimes the guys that won the secondary events or the off-week events would get in the Masters. Sometimes they wouldn't. Like, stuff like that. But if they did want to tweak it, I think if it's reasonable, it'll be accepted. If it's like, if you haven't earned a world ranking point in 52 weeks, you're not eligible. That's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. So you like Scotty to defend. Matt, did you? You like
I like
Jason Day?
Well, I like him as like it's hard to call Jason Day a dark horse, but he barely snuck into the field.
Yeah.
Dude, I think there's like 10 guys that can win that tournament.
I don't know how his game's looking right now, but I got to go with Cam. I mean, he sat there on the couch, a couple months back saying how much he loves that course and he believes that he can win there. It would be the biggest splash in our current golf system right now if a live player dons a green jacket.
It's going to be interesting. He certainly has the mental fortitude, probably a bit stronger than most of the field. He's playing Orlando this week, so probably get some reps in. And
that's the thing, though, with the live guys. None of us know how their games are. Mm-hmm. None of us. Even if like, Brendan Steele this week finishes second. I'm not going to put a ton of weight into that.
Do you think these guys are feeling pressure out there? I mean, you get nerves.
I do, 100%.
But when the cash is in the bag, I mean.
There's still a big difference between.
It depends on the person. Like Dustin, no chance. He's feeling pressure.
But I think.
But like Andy Ogletree, absolutely, he's feeling pressure out there.
But okay, Brandon Steele's a great thing. I think if he's playing a Corn Ferry event, the difference in the way you feel about yourself from 7th to 3rd is something. You're not immune to that. So whether it's a Corn Ferry and it's like 22 grand, the difference between 7th and 3rd, or it's a live event.
Well, of course you care, but is there pressure?
Yeah, I think there is. And also the element that doesn't get talked about is team pressure. The guy who's, you can look at any team. The one guy is sailing off early.
You think they really know where they stand in team?
On the boards, 100%.
They're getting that.
But the third guy who's shot, even par, he's in 42nd, and he's 1 under for the day, and his score's counting and the team's in like 4th, 100%. It's like a worse pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It's pressure and you're not even playing good, but you've got to try and maintain.
Peer pressure.
It was like college golf.
Yeah. It's like college golf.
You hate
letting down the team. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
If one guy, your coach comes up and goes, Jeff's 6 over through 7, and you're like 1 over through 5, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I've got to like grind this out.
Hey man, we need you today. James is shit in the bed back there.
It's a different type of pressure, and it's hard to convey. I don't know if the live guy, the commentators can get that across, and the consumer can accept it. I don't know. It's hard unless you've lived it. So is it even worth talking about? I don't know.
the little that I've watched of the Live, the commentary on there is it's too forced. It's like they have a production meeting and they're saying, okay, here's what we need you to drive today. It's just there's nothing genuine about the commentary. Like,
well, they have no ad breaks too, so there's like we've done it a little bit. The ad breaks are great to get you a little bit of thought and maybe take a piss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, digest what's just happened. They are on. It's I don't know how they do it, to be honest.
I don't either.
I feel like they need to. Ironically, no one wants it, but add a commercial break in there every 20 minutes so they can take a breath.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
They will when they get some sponsors.
That's I mean, who's going to saddle up? That's.
I read an article today. They're thinking about going from 12 to 15 teams, and then also introducing Monday qualifiers out there.
No way.
Yeah.
That's what ranking points. I think you need to get to like a number of 70 or something. So
you think they'll move to 72 holes?
I don't know.
I do.
Someone said, who
they
knows?
have to.
But
they're going to have.
Someone
to.
said if they have to, they will. Like whatever. But
then do you change the name of the tour?
Yes, please.
But then again, like if you do all these things, you get world ranking points, and Louis Oosthuizen's is 250 and DJ's 200.
Louis, God, he's
100.
on the Live. I mean, there's names that you just you like. What? Where's he been?
Ocala.
Riding
horses.
Different debate though. So obviously there's an American audience which is huge, but you'd have to think this South American audience now of all those.
Yeah, it's massive. It's all they got.
I would think that Live is watched just as much as Tour. I don't know. There's probably polls like this, but I don't look at enough shit going on in my life.
Well, who's the best South American player?
But same as South Africa and Australia.
Bezoid and Hote
on the tour.
Give me another. I can't.
Right.
Yeah, probably Christian Bezoid.
Yeah.
So
That's
all the
name.
memorable big names, Louis, Charles, all that, like they're on that team. Brendan Grace. So I would think South African audience is big. So maybe that's their go. Let's get the big Asian.
But
audience
South
Australian.
American too. You got Joaquin, Mito.
They've poached the entire President's Cup team.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Munez, Abe Ansah.
Right.
What happens for Captain Immelman? Like, he has nobody
I think
left.
he did so well for the circumstances he was under end of last year. Like, just pretty competitive. Man, he just got given.
Yeah, he got screwed.
Oh, he got screwed. That
so
would
it's
be hard
just
to take.
it's
props to Trevor.
You got a couple of old Aussies and Day and Scotty, and then the Koreans. Like, who's left? And Japan.
Tell you what, you give me fucking 12 Siwoo Kims, ain't no way you're losing.
I think we're at Siwoo for the Masters.
Oh God, I would love that. I mean, honestly, I think Siwoo. I know Siwoo is my favorite player on tour. It's not even close.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
We got to get him on here.
He'll come on.
Yeah,
he'll come on.
I think he's going to.
Dude,
play
Manny
well
Vajegas has been caddying for him, and Manny's been telling me some Siwoo stories, and they are. I mean, I know I got some great Siwoo stories from just personal interactions, but. And Manny's seen a lot of golfers, caddied for a lot of really good golfers, and he's like, this guy's the best guy in the best. If he wants to be, he can be the best player in the world. He just is a kid. He's like, I swear he hits it in the water on purpose sometimes to prove points.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would you say he's a prodigy or a phenom?
I don't know.
Well, he'd say he's a phenom.
I would say phenom. Yeah, I don't know, but
phenomenal.
Clearly talented, and when the guy decides that he wants to contend.
Siwoo. So,
what about Rory? Is Rory a chance at Masters?
See, that thing closes out his what do you call it? Grand Slam.
Yeah,
4 majors.
I think he already had his chance.
That is tough. That is got to be so hard to close out.
Well, my theory on those guys is like Casey was about to win so many times, and then 1 year at Tampa he was like 4 back, and I was like, Casey will win today. If Rory's
it's a comfortable number.
Rory's
got to
be chasing.
Yeah.
If Rory's he's got to be
and
like,
almost not be the talking point somehow, which is damn near impossible if he's near the lead for him not to be the talking point.
But if he's 3 back with like 4 to go, that's how he wins. He has a couple of birdies, some guy falls back, and he's like backdoor it.
I'd like to see
post
it.
the number.
I mean, let's.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's been 20 years since somebody's had a career Grand Slam.
Is Tiger playing? Is that confirmed?
I mean, I'm assuming he is. He hasn't played since what?
Genesis?
Riviera?
Yeah, I thought he might have played TPC or Bay Hill or something, but
Well, he's definitely resting up for this.
He's fired up for Scotty's.
Well, look, let's be honest. If he plays well,
he could do it. He could, 100%.
Everything, physical attributes of hitting the golf ball is still all there. The speed's there. The chipping's sick. Putting, putting's week to week.
Yeah, it's just getting around that place. It's the hardest walk of the year, times 10.
What was so Matt? You've played in a Masters. Played in 2 Masters.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? That whole experience of, I'm going to the Masters, but I also get to go out and play a couple practice rounds, get the lay of the land.
Yeah. So first time I went to Augusta, I just won like 3 weeks before the tournament, so I just got in, right?
Yeah.
So Jonas and I, my caddy at the time, Derek, all-time human, he would go to Costa Rica after we did anything good, come back about 15 pounds lighter and a nice tan.
Love bananas.
Great guy.
Fitness camp.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, we're gonna go up to we're leaving out of here. We were taking a plane up. Jonas and I were taking a plane up to Augusta just for like 2 days and then coming back. Derek's in Costa Rica. He's gonna fly to Orlando, and then drive over to the FBO and then go up. So it's like the morning we're leaving and I can't get a hold of Derek, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I go to the FBO and he's there and he's in like gym shorts and a wife beater. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Did you pack anything?
He's like, it's a long story. I gotta buy some clothes when I get there. And I'm like, what? So I think he was pretty jazzed up down there for a few days and was going the other way, getting on the plane.
Too much kiwi fruit.
Yeah. And took a couple, downers on the plane, and when they landed, his wallet and his phone were in the seat in front of him. He couldn't get back on the plane to get it. God. Yeah, it was a mess. But we went up there. It was super cool. The morning we went there, Jonas and I walked in. We're having breakfast, and Eli and Peyton were in there, and the NCAA tournament was going on at the time, and Tennessee was doing all right. So we talked about that for a little, but just super cool, man. The whole thing. So I will say, out of all the majors, British Open is the best, I think.
You and Gary Player.
Gary Player
holding that same opinion.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't that? That's not me. I think Gary's got. There's some angst.
He loves attention. I
can understand where he comes from.
Yeah,
really.
But if I don't know. I think the course is the reason people were. It's the same course every year. It's the first one. It's the longest gap.
There's a mystique to it, and the membership.
But I can understand how Gary Player would come to that. I'm not saying I agree with that, but obviously
he just ranked them in order that.
Hey, look. Do I think? Well, I'll say this too. I don't think it's the greatest course.
From oldest to youngest.
If it wasn't the Masters, I think guys would be taking that week off. If all the tour events had no what do you call it?
But I think
the prestige or anything or stuff like that. That place is kind of goofy, dude.
The back nine, it is goofy, but the back nine is so entertaining. It's to at the Matchplay, like Austin Country Club. Never played it. Watched it on TV. There's so many good holes in that back nine for Matchplay, but Augusta.
You have funnel pins. Yes, 100%. You're gonna get a great leaderboard. You're gonna get a great finish, no matter what.
It is just the most entertaining watch, though. When because of the way they set that up, and that's done intentionally to
I'm not knocking. I am not knocking.
Really, in the day, you're entertaining.
I'm not knocking the Masters at all. It's badass, and it's a very close second for me to the Open Championship. But I know the feelings that went through my body on the first tee and coming off the first tee, and I'm telling you, the Open Championship is it just doesn't even. It's not even close.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Well, I've got a quick story. One of my only Masters moment, really.
What year did you play?
2015. It was.
Was Rappaport in the field?
No, he wasn't there. I don't think Instagram was around just yet. But Matty was in the field, and he calls me the night before and says, "Hey, I got a ticket if you can get down here by 6 a.m." And I'm coming in from Charlotte hot. Get up about 3 a.m. Book it down. Matty gets a sweet little rental car from the tournament and a black Amex card that you can use anywhere in town. And we go right to McDonald's to grab
What are you talking? I didn't get a black Amex from them.
Yeah, you got some kind of a maybe it's your
No,
card.
that was my Amex, bro.
That was BS, and you fell for it.
So anyway, we're riding in.
We're so good.
We're riding in, and Matt puts on the blinker. He's like, "Hey, we got to pick up a couple guys." We pull over, and it's Sean Foley and a trainer. And
Craig
I'm like,
Davies.
what in the world's going on here? He's like, that's cool. I mean, this is how it works. So we drive in, put the blinker on for Magnolia Lane, and I'm like, this isn't really happening, is it? We're really riding down to the frickin' Masters.
This was Thursday too, right?
This was Thursday before the first round.
Yeah.
We get past the guard, and then I pull my phone up, and I'm like, guys, let me geek out. And then Matt goes, guys, this is my friend Scott. He's from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I just wanted to make his wish today. And he really did. So we drove down. I'm still videoing.
Do you still have that video?
I do. Arnold Palmer was
in the favorites.
Was in there as well. It was his last ceremonial tee shot.
That's right.
We park in the lot, walk on in and see Arnie hit just as I'm walking through, and hit a beautiful shrimp hook that even I could do. And it was just one of those surreal moments where it painted a totally different picture of this tournament. Mm-hmm. Just to have a good friend in the field, to be bumming cigs from the caddy Derek as he went 4 caddied on 8. It was just it was a totally different experience than I had when I went in '96 and watched Norman blow it.
Fold.
That's
cool.
Yeah, I remember that when I walked off the first. Was that my first one? I think it was.
It was your second.
Second. Okay, the first one, I remember walking off the first tee, and I looked over to the right, and my mom was crying, and I was like, fuck. Like, I got to play today. Come on, Yeah.
Maybe that was because she heard Trump was running.
Maybe. Maybe.
Well, that's cool. I've been probably 8 or 10 times to practice rounds, tournament rounds. I've never been down Magnolia Lane.
Really?
Last year I was coming in hot. Cam was obviously doing well. I never try to bother any of my friends during the tournament. It's just don't know how they're going to take it. So I text Bud. It's like, Bud, Hail Mary, is there a ticket? He goes, yep, be up here, before 12. Here's the house, the Wasserman house. And so I got up there, and I was trying to parlay. I was like, Jack, tell me when you guys are driving in. I was going to just wait at the Magnolia Lane. Mm-hmm. And if they saw me, I didn't want to annoy him. But
just thumb a ride in.
Yeah, just thumb. I wish I would have, but I missed the timing. And they get there so early. Like, it's the Masters. They want to sit there and relax and have lunch. And yeah, so I did try, but
it's pretty hectic around that gate. It's pretty hectic around that gate.
It's like Secret Service time.
But the cool thing is, anyone on earth who gets to be in Augusta that week, or any week, you drive past, you slow down, you can see right up there.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it is.
What else we got on the docket? We can.
What are the match play? Are we thinking? Obviously Australia.
It's gone now.
But that's what I'm saying. I played a lot of match play as a kid, and I think the tour is somehow going to have to bring this back, and immediately.
They are, but they got to figure out the issue is what happened on Sunday. I mean, you had a potential of.
I think it's good.
Well, I know you think it's good, but
what was wrong with it?
You didn't. You could. They had an hour and a half of dead air because the championship match was over on Sunday.
At least they had Rory and. Well, maybe don't even.
Yeah, but they did.
Maybe don't even have the third or fourth match.
Oh, that number one that needs to go away. The consolation match. You think
around,
those guys
boys.
give a straight fuck?
I feel like if you had to give them the option,
hey, let's chop this and get the hell out of here.
I was going to say, if you give them the option, there's probably $500,000 difference. They were in a heartbeat. Go, yep, 250.
They don't want to play that. I guarantee you on the first. Who is it? Rory and
Scheffler.
And Scheffler on the first tee. They probably were like, hey, let's just play as fast as we can.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
What time's your jet leaving? Yeah, mine's at 2.
Well,
let's
Rory
get this
flies commercial.
What?
Doesn't he?
No.
Because of the.
No, he flies carbon neutral.
Carbon? Oh, okay.
So he doesn't fly commercial.
What's carbon neutral?
You can give a couple of grand extra.
You
on
buy
top of
credits.
You buy credits. So you don't see it, but when you buy your Delta flight, and it's like $300, you can pay another $4 or give $1,000 freaking fly points to offset your carbon footprint. So I guess when they fly their
thing?
planes,
Yeah.
That's not even real.
How am I not
You go
surprised?
carbon neutral.
That's not carbon neutral.
Yeah, it is. You're
Your
offsetting
footprint.
it by investing into
Like
wind
trees
or
or
solar
something,
power.
How are we not surprised that Matt Every doesn't know that?
I just can't, people are falling for that.
Oh yeah,
They've been falling.
I've
for
never
it.
done it, but
I mean, I'm sure I've been paying for it forever and don't even know it. But like, I can't believe.
oh,
that's
you
a
have
thing.
to uncheck the box. It's always checked. No, I'm just kidding.
Or maybe he's
Carbon neutral.
No, but all that stuff. This is all a hypocritical joke. All these people out there with their signs up. I'm sure they don't recycle. I'm sure they don't. It's the world is a joke.
So what do you do with match play?
You got to have a cool course though.
event?
You can't do it at like Hilton Head. It wouldn't work. But I was saying like maybe TPC River Highlands. That's a great back nine, a great match play. You got to have a cool back nine. That's why Augusta obviously not having a match play event there. But you can't have even like a Wells Fargo, some cool holes in that back nine. But I think TPC River Highlands.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah,
Hartford. Yeah. Make that a match play event.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun down that second side. But you can't not have a match play event.
They kind of fixed it a little bit when
when rounds of three.
Yes,
that was
with
good.
the round robin stuff. But I think when you're playing, like I snuck in there one year, and where was it? It was the first year they did the round robin thing. I think it was in San Francisco somewhere.
Harding Park.
Yeah, and it was I think it keeps the viewer invested a little longer. I mean, I don't know. You're running a huge risk when you got Tiger. Let's just go back in the day, and Tiger's number one. And if he gets clipped in the first round,
Nico Hearn.
Yeah,
beat
there
him.
it goes.
there you go.
I
Yeah,
think Nico Hearn and Peter O'Malley, two Australians beat him.
How about that? Bet that sat well with him.
Yeah, but then you lose it. So the round robin thing does. I think the product is good, but you can't not.
What
have
about
it.
Nico Hearn? Didn't he always? He used to give Tiger fits.
Yeah, I think he beat him twice,
Yeah.
but definitely once in the first round. Then it just kills the whole program. And also then you get down to, even by the third round, you're then down to, 16, whereas the third round there's still 64 playing. There's a lot more product.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the format is great. Just if Dell doesn't want to pull their sponsorship and they're in Austin, I don't know, maybe Travelers did the match play. Why not?
Okay, so before we wrap this, gun to your head, who you got? Masters.
We need to pick two. My obvious one's
We got one underdog, one sleeper, one favorite.
Yeah, I'll go two Scotties, different ones.
Okay.
Scotty Scheffler and Adam Scott.
Okay, well, I like that.
Ooh. Yeah, I got to go Scotty Scheffler. He's been on an absolute heater heading into this, and I don't have a sleeper, man.
Come on,
really?
I need
give us
to
one.
dig
Abe
down the
Answer. Give
field.
us anyone. Abe Answer with a hometown
That's
caddy.
right. Abe is in this.
Benji, that'd be big.
Yeah.
Siwoo, I guess he'd be sleeping.
Yeah, that would be for sure. That'd be a sleeper for there. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jason Day, and then I am going to go.
You can't go Scheffler.
Well, yeah, and you already said Cam earlier. I'm gonna go Dustin and Jason Day.
All right, I like that.
The Dusty. Let's
That
go.
would be,
Let's go, Dustin.
Great for TV ratings.
Miss seeing that guy.
I do too. I miss watching Dustin Johnson play golf.
It'd be interesting to see how they allocate airtime to.
Well, I
players.
read somewhere CBS said they're not going to put their head in the sand. Like they're going to. I think it's just going to be a flush.
Not like NBC did. Who just broadcast?
Oh
that
my God!
graphic
Did
from
you
the
see
match
that
play?
at the match play? They took out Dustin and who was it, Bubba?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Didn't
sent
Ian
that to you
Poulter
guys.
win one?
I don't know.
Okay, let's just address this. The tactics that either side are playing.
It's so silly. It's like an insecure ex-high school girlfriend.
But
Yeah.
they
Is
clearly
what it's
don't
like.
know.
Scrubbing an Instagram of all
Yeah.
of our relationship photos.
Yes.
How does the
Piece of
tour?
shit.
How does the tour not realize that that's going to have an adverse reaction? You have to have your head in the
Is
sand.
that the tour though, or is that NBC? They're the ones putting the graphic up.
Okay, maybe it was NBC, maybe it wasn't the tour. But
Golf
some of these
Channel.
things that are
There's a bunch of bright
Well, as soon as golf-
minds over there.
As soon as Golf Channel starts covering Live, I mean, the ESPN, none of these outlets are jumping in to be like, hey, this is what happened last week.
end of the day, free market capitalism will take care of everything. If no one watches live, if people start moving from the tour to live, the audience decides. Like we're talking about these podcasts, whatever, they have a huge audience, and that is to congratulate them. Like it doesn't matter if you played on tour or didn't play on tour. I think the biggest baseball podcast is a bunch of guys that didn't play. They figured it out. So I don't think these tactics that either side need to play, like, oh, look at our field this week, look at our field, well, that field next week.
Yeah, but it's still, it's been going, it's so there's dumb. No sign of that stopping. It's still happening. It's going to happen. Dude, it's going to happen this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at this field compared to San Antonio.
That's true.
Just pump your product. But yeah, anyway.
All right. Great seeing you guys.